All right, thanks, Kent. Really proud of our players. Thought their effort was tremendous, really guarded on the defensive end. Ball security was a huge concern coming in. Florida State's third in the country in forcing turnovers. We were able to limit those to 11. Just thought our guys really competed. Once again, to score 53 points in the second half on a defense that's that disruptive in Florida State, is really a credit to our players. And, we're thankful to get the win. Jalen Reed, you saw with the injury, a minute and a half in, has a sprained knee. He'll be evaluated tomorrow, and I'll have a further update after that testing is complete.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, for Jalen Reed to go out so early in the game, and then for guys like Corey Chest, Damian Collins, Robert Miller, Derek Found to all kind of step up and play their role. Just how impressed were you with the front court performance tonight?
Well, I thought they all contributed to winning. Damian really only had 1 day of practice under his belt coming off the dislocated shoulder, and he comes out and blocks 4 shots. Had a couple nice finishes at the goal, gets 3 offensive rebounds. Corey, once again, I thought he was fantastic defensively. And then he gets you 10 rebounds. And then Derek, I thought really came in. He was +3 in his segment in the first half. But I tell you, I thought a huge moment in the game. They had cut it back down to 4, I believe, and Rob Miller gets back-to-back offensive rebound putbacks. And I thought he was fantastic defensively as well. So, yeah, I thought that was a big key for us.
Cam Carter had a brilliant game, not only making shots but also showed his athleticism. Do you think his athleticism sort of is a little underrated after sort of this type of game?
I don't know how everyone rates his athleticism, but I think he's really fast. I think he plays with great speed on both ends of the floor. He gets 8 rebounds tonight, 7 of them defensive. We knew that would be a big key for us. Gets to the free throw line. I thought he hit some big shots for us. He hit the 3 to get us tied up there to start the second half. And I think he just did a little bit of everything for us tonight to help us get the win.
Coach, I noticed you kind of started a new tradition by going to the student section after every home win. Could you talk to me about what building that connection with the fans means, especially on a night tonight?
Yeah, we've done it. I think it's always happened here, but we're trying to be very intentional. We need the students in here. This arena gets loud when you get people in here, and our guys are working their tails off. I think we have a really connected group, which allows us to keep getting better as a team, and it makes a difference when that end zone is full. And so we've tried to be very intentional, getting out on campus, going to different events, and trying to get the students in the building, and we'll continue those efforts moving forward.
Hey, Coach, last year y'all ranked 150th in three-point defense. This year y'all are top 10, just held Florida State to 31% from 3. Just what was like the emphasis this offseason, and what are y'all doing, I guess, differently than last year?
Well, we've talked about that a lot. We tried to be very intentional in how we recruited out of the transfer portal. We knew we needed to upgrade our perimeter defense. So you go and get a guy, Jai Bailey, who's second in the A-10 in steals, grades out as an elite defender on a top 20 defense in the country last year at Richmond. Cam Carter grades out as an excellent defender on a top 25 defense at Kansas State last year. So I think it starts there. Jordan Sears. And then the forwards, I think we have length, athleticism, and high activity there. So we obviously put a great value on defending the 3, and I think our players have really bought in and done a terrific job defensively.
Florida State obviously very, very long and athletic. It's not the first time nor the last time that Sears will be the smallest guy on the floor, but can you kind of speak to his toughness and ability to keep driving in there even though it wasn't maybe as successful in the first half as it was in the second?
Yeah. No, I heard some of the fans yelling at me to pass the ball and move the ball, but it's the way Florida State plays. They switch every single screen. You can't run set plays against them. And so you need to get into matchups and then attack off the bounce when you feel like you have a favorable matchup. And I thought Jordan did a really good job of recognizing that. And he got in there, he kicked out for some open shots. He had a couple really nice finishes at the rim. Got to the free throw line and converted. It's something we've worked with him, and we talked him through in the recruiting process. You know, he was a top 5 catch and shoot 3-point guy in the country last year. But now you come to the SEC, the #1 shot blocking league in America. You got to think a little differently when you get in the lane, and I thought he showed good maturity there tonight.
To that point, do you have any idea how the SEC's done tonight?
I have no clue.
9-0 right now.
Well, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. I mean, someone sent me a deal like by the metrics that the SEC through the first month is one of the top 3 leagues in the last 20 years, something like that. So the league is loaded. That's why these games are so important, and really proud of our players for finding a way to win.
On Monday, you didn't sound like Damian would be coming back. Did he come back like about a week or two earlier than you thought, or what happened?
Well, we just weren't sure. Sunday was his first day back, and he was all non-contact. The presser on Monday was before practice. That was his first contact he had had since the injury against Pitt, and he said he felt good, no pain, and he was ready to help the team. And so I'm really proud of the work he's put in. He's had a great off season, and we're thrilled to have him back.
Are you happy with these victories you're getting over these non-conference opponents? I mean, obviously it's early in the year to be talking a resume and all that, but you scored a few of them so far.
Well, I think it's huge. I guess we're 3-1 in these Power 4 games. We have another ACC opponent in a week at SMU and over in Dallas. And you got to take advantage of your opportunities because, to Hunt's point, it's looking like every game in the SEC is going to be a quad 1 game. The league's just loaded.
Florida State's Jameer Watkins. See here, he had 6 of 19 shooting. I guess what did you see out there that had him had that bad night shooting-wise?
I thought good team defense, and back to the earlier question. I mean, Jai Bailey, we always put him on the other team's best player, and he's delivered every night out to this point, and I expect he'll continue to do so. I thought he uses his IQ and feel for the game. He makes it really difficult to get easy shots. They got us on one back door early, but I thought Jameer really had to work for every shot he got, and I thought that was a credit not only to Jai, but just the team defensive plan surrounding him.
Victorious Miller, first half, looked like he was pressing a little bit, 1 for 6, and then comes out in the second half, goes 3 for 6, hits 3 triples. Just can you talk about maybe his growth and kind of just what this performance might lead to going forward for him?
I think the key word, Glenn, has been consistency. I believe that's the 6th straight game now in double figures. Versus all the switching, he found a couple matchups there in the second half that he was able to take advantage of off the bounce. And, I love his creativity. He can get to his spots. You notice the high release on his shot. He's able to raise up and shoot over even bigger defenders. And I want him playing with unlimited confidence out on the floor.
One more question, then we'll send him to radio, and Coach Hamilton will come in.
Coach, back to the defense. Even with Jalen Reed out, Corey Chest and Damian Collins were really just a force down in the paint. Even with Florida State winning the rebounding battle by 2, it seemed like down there they were unstoppable in making sure that Florida State wasn't getting many second chance points.
Yeah, well, Ewan's a monster. I mean, he had 11 offensive rebounds. A heck of a performance by him. But I thought those guys really competed and made it difficult on him. He had to work for everything he got. But overall, you look at the field goal percentage, especially in the second half, where we were able to get going and really efficient offensively. 57% from the floor and 46 from 3, able to get enough stops on the other end. But I thought all our guys that played contributed, played extremely hard, did what we needed to do to get out of here with the win.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Time, I'm not real sure I've seen a team maintain their composure, come out the second half with a different game, with an adjustment. The first half, because we were switching 1 through 5, I thought they tried to take us off the dribble, get into the lane and create the kick. our big guys did a pretty good job of containing the dribble, you know, in that instance. So they just backed up. I mean, they backed up and made threes with confidence that I'm not real sure I could let my players even shoot. And that's a compliment to them. They were the best version of who they are. And we didn't make that same adjustment by moving out a little farther, make them put the ball on the floor. They just backed up. And if they can consistently do that night in and night out, they're going to be a hard task for a lot of teams that they're facing. That's a compliment to them to just make that adjustment. Instead of driving and kicking like they was trying to do in the first half, they just backed up, and that's a great strategy for the type of team that he has. I felt this was a learning experience for us, no doubt about that. You know, we're a kind of team that needs a full complement of our players hitting on all cylinders in order for us to be successful. Defensively, I thought that we didn't attack them as well, especially the second half, as they attacked us. We didn't maintain the same level of poise that they did, and that's a compliment to them. And my hat goes off to them. Coach does a great job, and I think if they can continue to keep getting better and not have those injuries that they had, like they had to Reed, they're going to be a real factor in the SEC race. You guys got any questions? Don't all raise your hand at once now.
The leading scorer for LSU was Cam Carter, their top shooter. He had a couple dunks. I guess what made him hard to slow down for you guys?
Well, the turnover was our inexperience, no doubt about that. And you got to give their defense some credit for that. I thought that he's just one of those rare guys that can create off the dribble. He can drive to the back. He can score at all three levels. And he's a handful. You got to give him credit. He's just a good player. And out of their system, he plays within their system very, very well. And obviously, we didn't do nearly as good of defending him. And a lot because he's very talented, and we knew that coming in that he would be a guy that would be difficult to defend. But with us missing shots like we did, and giving them opportunities to get out and run, you give him an open court, and that's what you get, a guy who goes off for those number of points. And that's a compliment to him and the way Coach is implementing the system and the way he plays within it.
Any more questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, struggled to finish at the rim. I know Damian Collins is huge, but just what were some of the troubles, or how did you try to combat that to get in the paint?
Well, we have not been a good rebounding team all year. I mean, I think we might even got out-rebounded in some of the exhibition games, even though we won them. That's a challenge for us for whatever reason. We haven't developed that instinct that it takes to go after. We're athletic enough, but we have not been consistent with that. That's something, but the good news is that that's something we can get better at, and I think we would challenge them to develop the skills in that. We're trying to develop a rotation, and I have some older, more experienced players, and I got some younger guys who are just developing the experience of playing at this level. And we just hope that we can continue to keep winning at some level while we still developing. Hopefully, we can steal us one come Saturday.
Coach, you talking about how rebounding has been an issue for you so far this season, but it seemed like Malik was a force in the paint against LSU. Did you feel like he had some sort of advantage there? Because it seemed like he was able to kind of take over early on.
Well, Malik is developing that too. He's developing how to play at this level, taking advantage of his strengths. I like to see that he's getting better with each game, and that's because of his focus and him wanting to make a major contribution to us. But we need more of our guys making the same level of progress that he's made since the beginning of the year. And we have other guys that are capable, but a lot of it is just concentration. And we've been a little short in those areas. I think, what they got, 15 offensive rebounds? Yeah, that's way too much when you're playing against a team that's already talented and well coached like they are.
Coach, you talked about the adjustments that LSU made at halftime. What kind of adjustments did you try to make at the halftime break going into the second half?
Well, defensively, we really just have a system, defensive system that we really feel good about. We've led the nation field goal percentage defense about 3 or 4 times, and we've had other times when we've been in the top. So we're comfortable with that. We just got to execute what we have in our game plan. You know, we have to. When you're allowing people to shoot uncontested threes, that's not in our defensive playbook. You know, we like to move up, but to their credit, you're not accustomed to people having the skills to make threes from that range, which is a compliment to them. You know, we have to learn that at this level, you know, you can't take anything for granted. And they were very comfortable making those threes. They just backed up, took 3 or 4 dribbles, and raised up from deep range. And we have to make adjustments that we're standing there, so we might as well guard them. And that's something that our guys are going to have to learn to adjust to. Because I'm sure we're going to be playing against other folks that have guys who can make deep range shots. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I played against someone, though, that shot the ball that consistently from that range. That's a compliment to them and the strength of their team.
Any more questions for Coach?
Thank y'all very much.
Thanks, everybody.
My wife told me that the weather